All right, hi, my name's Carl Lukings, and welcome to Resourcestage Live for October 2020, the craziest year ever. And I am here tonight with a couple of different people, but just a quick introduction. Resourcestage is a series of seminars and events that Horizon Solutions has been hosting now since 2005, I guess. So we've been doing events and seminars, things, usually in person, not as many or not as often just streamed online. We have been streaming our events and streaming seminars online for a number of years. But nowadays, this is what you do. This is what we've got to do. So we decided that tonight we're going to take kind of a relaxed approach to things, and we're just going to talk to a few people, and we're going to interact with them a little bit about what their products are and what they're doing, kind of what they bring to the market. And we got somebody else that we're going to throw in the middle of things here in a couple of minutes. But we're going to start tonight with George. George is with PointSource Audio. And PointSource Audio, I believe, is down in California. So are you there, George? Can you hear me? Oh, we just got to unmute you. Sorry, just 1 second. Where are we? Do we have him unmuted? Best laid plans. Everything was going so well, and then we ended up with.
It was muted on my side. It was all
Oh,
my
it's
fault.
muted on your side. Okay, there we
So,
go. Hey, George.
hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am doing wonderful. Thank you for having us.
Good. So the original plan was that Justin was going to be with us, and Justin's an account manager for PointSource, right?
He is.
Okay, and then we ended up running into some last minute technical difficulties, and you were able to jump in, which is great. I do certainly hope that things for everybody in your office in California are going okay. I understand that literally the flames are getting kind of close to you guys down there.
I am actually in Dallas, Texas. I'm one of the only people outside of the California area, but I hear it's getting better than worse. It was bad for a while there, but I think they're getting a handle on it. But I guess it goes day to day. I'm not 100% sure, but it's 80 degrees, 85 and sunny in Dallas. So,
Okay. Well,
um,
we're located in London, Ontario, Canada, and it's not 80 degrees here, not at all. So thanks for joining us, George. So we've been selling earset microphones or headset microphones for a number of years now, and we've sold the Countryman mics and DPA. And the microphones from houses like Shure and Audio Technica, and the ones that they package with a lot of their systems. A customer of ours, one of our theater clients, brought the name PointSource Audio to us a couple of years ago, and it sounded really interesting. There was a couple of unique things that stood out for us that we thought would be really interesting for both our theater clients and our church clients, and one of them was the flexibility, but the other one was kind of the sweat-proof, waterproof sort of feature. And actually, I guess the third one that is really interesting goes along with this thing. So I was wondering if you could help me just kind of walk through the line of the ear set pieces and how that works, and kind of going from the 3 to the 8, and kind of explain to me kind of what your target market is for those, what your thought process is behind those products, that sort of thing.
Absolutely. So, PointSource has been around. I think we're in our 12th year. And when they started, they noticed a problem that many of you guys have noticed. These mics aren't particularly cheap, uh, aren't particularly durable, and some really don't sound that good. And we found, a big opportunity to solve problems, and not just with the mics, but I've been with the company 5 years, and uh, my background is more studio and more rock, less theater. And a lot of times when I see what we're coming out, I'm like, they don't have this yet. And it was a lot of really seemed simple. A lot of them weren't that easy to pull off, but uh, problems that were pretty much industry wide that were kind of ignored. So that's kind of what we've set out to do is take something that could be more durable, make it more durable,
Okay.
and then sound, compete with anything on the market,
Right.
from anything all the way up to the most expensive ear warrants. And one of the first innovations was what you were talking about was the flexibility.
Right.
So um, some of the problems with some of the other mics on the market. One, and I'm going to try to do this. So a lot of times the first thing you see is someone will throw it over the ear, and right there you're bending it,
Yep.
and that's a failure point. Plus, when I started, everyone was like, "Well, your cable doesn't detach here; it detaches here."
Yep.
And I would have to explain, it. I know it's gasketed, a lot of them, but it causes more problems than it actually solves.
Sure.
So we made that stronger. We go through the manual to bend it in, and when you do it like that and pin it here, now it's at a much, angle that less likely to break.
Right.
And then when it comes to the ear shape, you can make this for the, let me see, the smallest ear all the way to a much larger ear, and the boom can not, I mean,
You're not supposed to show our customers that, are you?
Well, it's funny. I've had shows where they come up to me jokingly mad. It's like, it's you guys. People keep snapping all our mics because they had experience with ours, and they just think that other mics can do that.
So which mic do you have in your hand there, George?
This is a CO8WS.
Okay.
So
I have my 8 actually. I didn't have an 8 handy, and so we have an 8 on demo that's coming in the next couple of days. But I have a 6, and the CO6 is supposed to have kind of the same sort of characteristics as the 8, right? As far as being flexible.
Yeah. And I'll start with the 3, because that'll be the easiest thing. And it's the one I don't have. Actually, I do have a 3.
Yeah, I have a 3 here as well, actually.
So the CR3 is our entry level.
Yep.
It is left ear only, not bendable, not waterproof.
Right.
Fixed connector, but the best $99 mic on the market.
Yeah, I was going to say, because somebody's going to ask, I'm going to pull this up right here. So we sell these, because we're dealing in Canadian dollars, we sell these for about $135 Canadian, something like that. Which with the exchange rate of like $1.35 right now, that makes sense. So, okay, and yeah, let's talk about that first then.
And these were designed by us. Some companies, they have their flagship, and then they'll buy something off the shelf or get it branded. This was designed by us and our engineers in California. So and a whole lot. So we put as much as we could into that price point. But it is our entry level microphone. We have it listed as a speech mic, but when you have theaters on budgets, or maybe elementary school students, I don't like necessarily the voice only, because our basic voice is what we listed as, because it sounds phenomenal. It just doesn't have the SPL for a professional that our 8 series have.
Right.
It's SPL, max SPL is 118.
Right. So if you're really yelling into this, you're really, you're belting it out, this is going to start to crunch on you pretty quick then, is what you're saying.
Maybe. I mean, 118, couple inches away, it's still going to have a decent, I've honestly never seen any of our mics clip in a demo. So not saying that can't be done, but they just go up from here. So again, budget, not waterproof, fixed connector, entry level.
Right.
Then you go to
but it's available for a whole bunch of different connectors though. Like this one here, I've got wired for sure, but you can get them for all kinds of different mics.
Well, I'm going to show you the 8s, but yes, we have Audio Technica,
Sennheiser,
both Audio Technicas, both
yes,
the the CH and the old CW,
Yep.
my Pro, AKG, uh, for the CO3.
Right.
We get into Limo. Not too many people ordering
Yeah.
that price point with the Limo,
Well,
but
when the connector's worth almost as much as the mic, then it's probably not the one you're looking for.
but so our next step up is a 5 and 6, and it's pretty simple. Same fixed connectors, a step up in element,
Right.
but the same element specs. But you choose waterproof or bendable.
Right.
So bendable like the 8 I have, and this is a 5, or IP57 waterproof rating. And I'll go ahead and say on all of our mics, even the cardioids, this is going to become whatever normal is. And when we get to it, um, these are, waterproof, but they are isopropyl safe. You can take a prep pad, clean them, any of our models. If it's a waterproof one, I mean, if you had a pail of isopropyl, you could dunk it, submerge it.
Wow.
I think it'd be a waste of alcohol, but any prep pads, some of our manufacturer competition, they say specifically no alcohol, and I don't know what you're supposed to clean. It won't degrade it, won't discolor it, and that's across the whole line. So, and we have that information on our website. So anyone that's working for maybe a bid or something like that, where they're going to have to produce all these different cleaning procedures for
Right.
every product, because I could see that in certain, government bids and states and provinces.
It's funny when you talk about cleaning. Obviously, there's cleaning for being safe today, but we've actually got to the point now when an elementary school or a high school tells us that they want to rent a bunch of mics, we ask them what show they're doing, because we're getting really tired of them doing Shrek or doing Aladdin, and the entire mic comes back blue or green. It's like, come on, you guys.
Well, I told you we solve problems. We have for
Okay.
that very specific one. I've run into it all the time. It's funny. You can almost tell what year it is.
Yeah.
'Cause Shrek was 2 years ago. Little Mermaid was last year.
Yep.
Aladdin was before that.
Yep.
It's funny. It's kind of like it goes in waves.
Yeah.
So when you go to the 8, and those have the same price points,
Right.
but they also have the adapter that you have to make it a headset.
Okay, sorry. So when you're saying is that the 5 and the 6, you choose whether it's the bendable version or if it's the waterproof version, but the price is essentially the same. You just decide when you purchase it. And then so let's just talk about this adapter thing here, because this is a game changer for a lot of the churches that we work with. So the ability to adjust this, right? So that I can have that clip on my ear, and then I can take this guy and just, I don't know if it's able to be seen there on the camera very well, push that in, and now the microphone kind of becomes a headset. And if you look at this, I always look at this and think, wow, that looks pretty flimsy. It doesn't look like it's really going to hold. But once I actually put that on and I adjust it properly, I feel like I'm on the shopping network or something. When I put this on and I adjust it properly, if I angle it, then it's not going anywhere, and that's awesome. And I've seen other manufacturers who've tried to do similar sorts of things, but I haven't seen where it's been to the same effectiveness. Not like this.
And it was funny. There was a show here in Texas. I don't know if you have in Canada. It's called Mary Kay. It's a big makeup line.
Yeah.
And
the pink Cadillacs.
Yes.
Yeah.
They were using DPA jawline.
Right.
And there was a problem. Their affinity for earrings that dangle.
Right.
And so the rental house I was putting it on, and one of them had a bunch of our 8s, and they had to overnight that adapter for the stability. But since the earrings were down here, it worked fine. But it does work in rental houses incredibly well, because I would always go for the stability, but I get it with long hair. Sometimes you have to kind of flip your hair down to put it on. So it is nice as a rental house. You can include it in the box or ask them.
Yeah.
That way, it comes back. But but have that option because some people do still like the single ear,
Yep.
and some people like the headset. So,
S-
so yeah,
So then, okay. So that's kind of the least expensive one, kind of that commodity product one. Then we have waterproof, sweatproof, and more adjustable. You get to choose. Then that brings us into the 8 series, right?
yes,
And the 8 is kind of like your flagship, I guess, until we
it
get
is.
into some of the more really interesting things that maybe we'll have to talk about another time. But I shouldn't say interesting. They're more unique, I guess. But what is it about the 8 that's different? What is it about the 8 that's
So the 8 gives you the best of everything. So you get the bendability, whether it's this style or our headset style cable. Um, so they both have the bendability. You
right?
do have a cardioid option,
Okay,
but when we're sticking apples to apples with the 8, you have the ability for a removable connector
right.
because as tough as our mics are, everyone has seen a pastor or just throw it in their back pocket upside down,
Yep, absolutely.
and so they're about 4 inches, and they just screw on. And at the 8 series, we do have Limo for the SK and the new Shure Axiom Micro
Right.
packs and Lectrosonic. Um, so we do have some of the higher end options, and of course all the other ones: Sennheiser Evolution, TA4F for sure,
Got it.
Bayer. I don't know. Bayer's not really big in the U.S. It may be more in Canada, but we do have that one, and the EV Telex,
Right.
TA4F. So it's waterproof if it's a Omni, uh, bendable, removable connector, and our highest performing element.
Hmm.
Um, and so it's the best of. You're going to get the most durable, best sounding uh, miniature mic on the planet.
Hmm.
And the
You're not
other,
biased though, are you?
you know, when I started, I, you know, I'm a gear guy. I
Sure.
could talk gear all day long.
Sure.
And when after my interview, they gave me one to try, and I had a Countryman, and I borrowed a DPA, and I did my own
Yeah.
testing.
Yeah.
And the
Good.
funniest thing, after a year or two, um, the hardest thing at the beginning was, who are you guys? Because we were still at that point about a 5, 6 year old company.
Right.
And then what's the catch?
Right.
Are you saying you can perform at any level at the price point that you're at and be more durable?
Right.
And I'd have to tell them, you're going to have to ask why they're so expensive. Or, that's, I can't tell you. I mean, I can show you. And that led to a lot of demos. But and sometimes it took that to get it in their hands. But, um, yeah, so at first, I had to do my own testing, even when I was starting, just to know exactly the market
No,
better.
that's good.
And but the other great thing about the eights is no matter what other eight you're looking at, whether it's the headset version like this, and this is the headset version that goes down the jawline. So this is a truly built headset.
Yes.
It's adjustable, so you don't have to pick a length. You can wrap this boom all the way around as long as you need it. Or if they project better, you can tuck it away.
Right.
But whether you're with a single layer, this, or our other options, it is the same element.
Okay.
So the only thing you need to really decide is which form factor.
Right.
Whether it's a lav
Right. Right.
or our embrace,
Right.
which is the trimmable mount that no more, you don't have to build ear mounts.
Right.
We have trimmable mount that, once on, I'm putting this on with a headset and my glasses.
Yeah.
And once it's on, let me take this off for a second. Yep. Once it's on, it's pretty much
Okay.
disappeared.
Good. Okay.
And, we originally designed it for theater specifically because they're the ones that are spending all this time with helmet sleeves and broken earpieces and floral wire. But as soon as we released it, pastors, they call, it's kind of silly, they call these mics Britney mics.
Yeah, right.
It's a far cry from the Crown 311, but
Sure.
they still call it that.
Yep.
And corporate speakers,
Right.
they don't like anything. And we found the embrace to be really, really big with that. And we're making some room in broadcast, which that makes total sense. You don't have to,
Yep.
keep looking forward or turning the body. You can be a little bit more fluid with that.
Yeah.
So when you look at our 8 series, the drawbacks, being that much further, yeah, you might pick up a little bit more noise in a badly designed or a not purpose-built room.
Sure.
It may be tricky to dial it in.
Sure.
But I haven't found it very hard, even in some pretty, it takes me an extra 2 minutes.
Sure. Well,
versus...
I think, I think that the point is that you've got a range of options based on what people's needs are, and if you can use this, then that's going to be beneficial. If you can use this, then that's going to be beneficial, whether it's you're choosing because of price point or whether you're having to make a choice because of sweat or water or whatever, or if you can get away with the mic being back here, then you've got options. And I think that, as you say, PointSource hasn't been around for a long time, but you guys have been able to kind of develop your line and come up with some interesting things there. Thank you very much for taking the time. I'd like to keep talking to you about more things, but I think that we've got some other guys we've got to talk to tonight. So sure. I want to make sure that either yourself or Justin, we get back another time to talk about that headset that you're wearing. Because is that a PointSource?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's one of the PointSource headsets that you can use for comm and that kind of thing as well, right?
And for Zoom in the world we're in right now. I have mine adapted to TTRS,
sure,
but it's a 5-pin.
Yeah, that's very cool. Cool. All right. Well, thank you very much, George. I really appreciate especially the fact that you jumped in so quickly to make this happen with some of the technical difficulties we were running into earlier.
Not a problem.
That's great. And if people want to know more about PointSource, they can find you at your website, right?
Yes, which is point-sourceaudio.com.
Right, of course. And they can also contact us at Horizon, and we do have some stock in stock here in our office, and of course, we're getting stuff in from PointSource fairly quickly these days. So that's great. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. No problem at all.
Right.
All right. So
thank you guys.
So that was George from PointSource. And now we have a friend of ours, from a Horizon friend of ours, John Hollywell. I shouldn't say it like that. John's been a friend of mine for a long time. John Hollywell is joining us, and I wanted to do a quick commercial for John and something that he's working on through COVID. How's it going, John?
Very good, thanks.
Good.
You got my mic unmuted there, Dan?
Yeah. Yes, you're good.
Sweet.
You're good. We can hear you. So if I understand it correctly, I think John actually just brought up a point that it looks like on our Resourcestage website, or maybe Dan just brought it up, that on our Resourcestage website there seems to be a link broken. What do you do, websites? So hopefully people are able to find us on YouTube or Facebook. I say this like as if I'm talking to the people who can't find us right now, but I guess if they're watching this, then they found us on YouTube or Facebook. So John, you've been kind of doing a few things during COVID, and you have some plans for what you're doing coming up here. What's going on?
Yeah, well, like a lot of live audio technicians, I was out of work for quite a few months and managed to scrounge a few little things together. Luckily, I was working in Toronto for 2 months at one of the drive-in event stages down there, so that was a big help.
Yep.
But it kind of looks like the winter's going to be pretty quiet, through the spring at this point. So yeah, so I enjoyed teaching, and I decided to put together some workshops for online audio workshops, and doing it through the Hillside Festival, which is a regional festival near where I live. Yeah, I've been involved with Hillside for, I think, about 16 years on and off.
Right.
And currently I'm mixing the main stage front of house for that, which is a super fun weekend. So the workshops are they're sort of like beginner level to intermediate level, and we're doing a series of weekly workshops. So it'll be one night a week. They'll be about 90 minutes in length, and we had planned to do them Tuesdays. So actually, we put this out last week early, and the Tuesday night sold out quick.
Oh, wow. Cool.
Yeah, which was amazing. So, and we had more people who were interested. So what I'm going to do is do like a duplicate set of workshops on Thursdays.
Okay.
So it'll be the same workshop, basically, just to get some more people involved. Yeah, and the cost is only $50, and that's for the entire set of 6 workshops.
Right.
So yeah, it's quite affordable.
Yeah, yeah, that's cool. And so you're doing this from your home, and you're going to be talking.
Yeah.
Okay. And you're doing it on Zoom.
Yeah, it'll be on Zoom. I kind of have a studio set up here. You can't really see it, but I have a digital mixing board, and I'm going to have some cameras set up. And so some of it will be like a PowerPoint, some of it will be discussions, and then some of it I'll actually be able to do some live demos with microphones and with mixing. So like the topics are going to kind of start with general audio theory, and then we're going to look at all the different microphones, DIs, in the second workshop, and then I'm going to do 2 workshops on mixing, so like a basic one and a bit more advanced one. And then we're going to do one on sound systems and, setting up sound systems, monitors, front of house. And the last one is going to be kind of a mix of like talk about stage plots, how to run your sound check, how to sort of look after sort of other like peripheral ends of live concerts.
That's a great idea, because I would say of the Resourcestage seminars that we've done over the last 15 years on audio, the ones that we talk about running a proper sound check, running a proper rehearsal, that kind of thing, and stage plots and so on and so forth, they're the ones that actually get attended the least in some ways. And often it's like, no, folks, this is really important. This has a huge impact on your success.
Yeah, well, it's like a lot of things. The organization behind it and the preparedness is what makes it, go smoothly for you. So, long before you arrive on site, you should have, your information together. And a lot of people don't, which even at the professional level, surprisingly. But it does make a big difference.
Yeah, for sure. Well, if there's anything that we can do to help, you know where to find us. If you need any demo gear or anything like that, see, I'm saying, and it's on recording. So if there's something that we can help you out with, you know where to find us.
I got my thing here, hillsidefestival.ca.
Perfect.
So if you go there now to hillsidefestival.ca, you can click on the workshop link, but it says it's sold out. But it also tells you that you can email Hillside, and it gives you the address, and then basically we're generating a list for the next session. Okay. So there should be some fresh information up there pretty soon.
Yeah, that's great. How many people are you putting into a session?
20 was, so we maxed out at 20. Partly, obviously you could do a presentation to a lot of more people, but when it comes to questions and helping people like one-on-one, and 20 is actually quite a lot. Yeah. And so they start on Tuesday, November 3rd was the Tuesday start. So the Thursdays will start on November 5th. Right. Will be the first one. Right. And now they'll run every Thursday for six weeks. Okay. Yeah. So you're running up to the 8th or the 10th then. Yep. Yeah. Okay. That's great. Cool. That's awesome. Thank you very much, John. Well, thanks for having me on. Yeah, no problem. Have a good evening. Okay. Okay. Bye. Take care. All right, and that's John. And John's helped us out with a couple of different things with Resourcestage in the past, and he's been great. He did a couple of microphone sessions for us in the past, and a few other things. So I'd really encourage you to, if you've got the time and you've got $50 burning a hole in your pocket, go and do that. It's definitely worthwhile for sure. What you can't see of John off camera now is John going like this.
He wants your money. All right. So we are moving on, and we're joined by Benoit. Benoit is with Datavideo, and they are a well, actually, you know what? I'll let Benoit tell you a little bit about Datavideo. How are you, sir?
I'm pretty good, actually. It was a good show so far. I mean, good information and very interesting.
Oh, that's good. Are you wearing an all black shirt? Is that what that is?
Of course.
Oh, you know. So okay. So here's a quick side story. Those people who've watched Resourcestage and been at Resourcestage events for a number of years know that a lighting company that we've done work with for a long time is called Light Factory, and Martin Sarank is who runs Light Factory is from New Zealand. So he sent my son a hat that was an All Blacks hat. Well, my son walks into school, wears this All Blacks hat. Nobody knows what it is, but his teacher thinks that's fantastic. And I said, well, you know what? Maybe I'll see if I can get him All Blacks hat for his teacher for Christmas.
Actually, I bought it on the All Blacks website.
Oh, nice. Well,
what got shipped from New Zealand.
Well, I was going to say, so I get this hat. What I didn't figure out was that the shipping was going to cost way more than the hat. But no, it's great. It's yeah, if you're an All Blacks fan, you're an All Blacks fan. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
Okay, so back to Datavideo. Yes. Tell me about Datavideo.
Well, Datavideo, we're a company that. Actually one of the few companies that's owned by one individual, which is Jack Lima. And that company has started, I would say, about 37 years ago.
Okay.
Started and created some flagship product, like the first converter analog to digital, when FireWire was very popular.
Right.
People needed to ingest, and these converter became a success story. From there, we moved to more switching. We're the first company that came up with a DV switcher, which no one else had at the time.
Right.
And from different product that we created, we needed to create other product that were going and adding to
right.
For example, if you're doing a DV switcher and you're going to analog, the transcoding will need audio delay on it.
Okay.
So we created audio delay box. Now today, audio delay is king on pretty much everything because if you're streaming, you need audio delay for your project. Absolutely.
For sure.
So from there, we developed new products. We started about 6 years ago, our first camera. We started with something very similar to that was the PTC 100, and the PTC 100 at the time had a Panasonic chipset in it, and that chipset was not super successful for us because again, delay is really a big issue when you're doing live stuff. So we moved to the PTC 150 with a Sony chipset.
Right.
And this is where really everything picked up for Datavideo on the camera side of things.
Right.
Of course, we do have all the switchers, but I would say 3.5 years ago, we became actually a camera company because as a volume and as money, we're selling more in dollars in camera than in any other category.
Wow.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, so I mean, you guys have such a wide range of products because you've got cameras, you've got switching equipment, you have encoding equipment, which we're going to talk about a little bit. You have things like character generators.
Yeah.
And you have kits so that you can buy, and you've got kind of everything with including small green screen pieces and that kind of stuff. But then you've got things like teleprompters. Like you've got a pretty wide range. In fact, I think that if you go to the Datavideo website, it's pretty easy to actually miss some of the things because there's so many different things that you do.
The thing we decided to do a little while ago is that we would be able to provide a full solution for our customers.
Right.
So that's really was the purpose. So of course we have recorders, we have power management, we have distribution, we have all the transcoders. I mean, the DAC 70 is a legend for us. It's a legendary product. We're selling a ton of them since like 6 years.
Right.
And it's an incredible product because, I mean, in Canada, I may have 3 returned,
Right.
and they would drop on their head. Really, they were the connector was cracked. The other one had a broken connector inside because the HDMI is kind of not a very solid connector.
Right.
Even if we put a plate to protect the HDMI connector on most of our product,
just like this,
it was broken. Yeah, exactly. Yep. So I mean, putting an HDMI in it and putting a tie wrap around it will protect that connector quite a bit.
Sure.
So we decided, and then at the same time as we started to provide these little robot cameras, well, there's a big trend for robotic cameras right now because they're small. You need less people to manage. I mean, one person can manage 4 cameras.
Right.
And they don't bother anyone. So people can actually forget that they're filmed, forget that there is camera in the room, and go on with their normal activity, whether it's a singer or a church or, I mean, their cameras are so small now that you sort of forget that, your camera is there.
Yeah.
The other feature on that specific camera is that we have tally light as well.
Yeah,
so
I was gonna say, because that's on this here, right?
We can provide tally if you want to have tally, or we can actually shut them down if the people don't want to be bothered by the camera and act more naturally.
Right. So just because some of our clients some of the people watching may not understand exactly what tally is, that's the idea that when this camera is the one that's actually recording or that's live, then the light is going to light up on this camera.
Yeah, you got two colors. Red is for live and green is for preview.
Right.
So if, for example, for a pastor, if they see that the camera on the right is red, I mean, he should just turn to the right, and then it's going to be much more natural, much nicer. But if in the corner of his eye you see that there's a green camera, he knows that when that red light shuts down, he can turn to the green camera, and then now the green camera becomes red.
Right.
So this is really, really useful it's a very inexpensive way to improve the production quality of a show by doing so. And it's the same thing. Our intercom system, because we do intercom as well, our intercom systems are actually providing tally to the camera as well through the intercom system. So there's a tally light that you can attach to your belt pack, put it on your camera, and now the cameraman knows if he's live or in preview, or if we can move around and move the camera around.
Right.
So with this came streaming about, I would say about 5 years ago as well.
Sure.
And streaming, we came out with the NBS 20, which is our first streaming server. Then we moved to the 25. Then we moved to the 30. Then the 31. And then right now we have the 31, which is the card that we have in our handheld switchers.
Okay.
And then we have now, I mean, we're sold out right now with the 33. And then we've introduced the 34.
Okay, so let's take a minute and talk about this. So this is the 33.
Yeah.
Okay, and this is kind of an interesting piece because I always start on the back. I always go to the website and I immediately start on the back because that tells me a lot about what's going on. So on the back here, I've got power. Then I've got my network jack to plug into my wired network in my building, right? I've got HDMI and SDI. And I've got a pair of unbalanced analog inputs. So that immediately tells me that I can get video in from either HDMI or SDI. And it tells me that if I have to, then I can bring in an analog audio line as well.
Usually, all our switchers will embed audio.
Yes.
In the SDI or the HDMI.
Right.
So that's why we don't have we didn't put really a lot of importance on the connector. Ideally, it would have been a 3-pin XLR balanced signal, of course. But I would say 95% of our users, they really use the embedded audio from the switcher.
So you know what?
There's a sync that you can actually do. There's an audio delay in some of our switchers that you can actually adjust within the switcher.
Right. If
you have to manage audio delay within the box.
Well, I have to admit, I mean, we've sold a good number of these. I have never used this connector until tonight. The way that so we have, and we'll talk about this in a second, but we have an NVS 34 here, and this is actually the one that's running the stream tonight. So I better not unplug it. Dan's yelling in the other room.
I can actually run what we've done, the difference between the 33 and the 34 if you want.
Well, yeah, let's talk about this for just a quick second, because I want to talk about how the front interface is so simple. So we have, the on-off switch, but then we have an SD card slot right in the front. We have input, so we get to select whether or not it's SDI or HDMI. We have a bit rate button, so I can select, in layman's terms, the quickest way to describe it is just kind of quality of what we're streaming. Mm-hmm. And then we've got a record plus stream, a record button, and a stream button. So if I want to start streaming, I hold down that button. It flashes at me for a second. I can take my hand off it. It's going to keep flashing for a second as it makes connection. Goes solid red, as is shown on this guy here, if you can see it. And it's solid red, and I know that it's streaming, and it's going. And that's awesome. Like, the fact that I've got a big solid button. There's other manufacturers that we work with, and they're great. They've got interesting things for sure. But I don't think any of them have that big solid. I can push it with my thumb, and I've got that indication back. And that's something that we really appreciate about these products.
Yeah. The other thing is that, of course, you can adjust the bit rate, and you can adjust pretty much anything, and it's basically operated via a web browser.
Yeah.
So as soon as you have actually you can sniff your network, because the unit will be in DHCP.
Yes.
Then you can find it. You just need to open up any browser, tablet, phone, laptop.
Yep.
Type the IP address, username, password. You're in. You can modify, change, customize everything about the stream as well.
So with this box, and I should say, when I say this box, I'm really talking about both the NVS 33 and the new NVS 34. Mm-hmm. With either one of these boxes, I can get granular when I want to. I can get into the nitty-gritty and make the changes that I need to for my specific stream based on, the quality that I'm needing to stream up, as well as change what I'm recording so that I could record at 1080.
It's a separate encoder, really.
Right.
So you could have a 5 megabit recording and a 3 megabit stream.
Right. So I can have a great recording, and then I can have a really good stream, but maybe my upload speed of my internet connection is not awesome, so I have to dial that back for some reason.
That's really one of the things that your customer needs to check the most. Because really, when you're streaming, you need to basically look for about 50% of the upload that you have. So let's say that you have 6 megabit upload. I would recommend not to stream over 3 megabit, because the fluctuation on the network will make it that if you lose 2% below that 3 megabit, you basically lose the integrity of the stream.
Right.
And that is basically why we're going after SRT for pretty much everything low. If your network is not going to be solid enough, SRT is going to be really an important format.
Okay. I want to talk about that.
Probably replace RTMP eventually.
Okay, I want to talk about that. Let's talk about this for just another quick second here, and then we'll talk about that. So, the differences between the NVS 33, which is so old school, like what? It's so September 2020.
Pretty much.
So now, October 2020, we're into the NVS 34. The NVS 34, probably the two big things, other than an improved browser experience, because it's got, I really like the way that this browser interface works. It's a lot nicer. Other than an improved browser experience, we have two main things that stand out on this device.
You can actually do two streams with it.
Right.
You can actually, if you have the available bandwidth, you could actually send a stream to YouTube and a stream to Facebook at the same time.
Which is what we're doing right now with this device. So this device has one cable plugged in, and we're going to both at the same time. As soon as we hit stream,
two
it
different
starts.
RTMP address.
Right.
And record at the same time if you need to record.
Right. Right.
And the other thing that's different is that you have the possibility to do 9:16 video as well.
Okay.
So 9:16 is a phone format, right? So if you have your own phone, you can actually stream in that format,
right,
and not in that format.
Right. Got it. Yep.
So the reason around that is that now Facebook can actually give you 9:16, and Instagram is giving you 9:16. To stream on Instagram, you basically go through Yellow Duck, which is a software that gives you the RTFP stream and stream key from your Instagram account. And now you can actually do live event on Instagram and Facebook at the same time using that device.
Right.
And the other thing that they say about 9:16 is that actually, if you're on your phone, you're going to watch for a longer period of time if it's a 9:16 than if it's a 16:9 signal.
Right.
So again, everyone wants people to watch more. So 9:16 is a good way, and it's a very different production. It's so different, and it's very fresh for content.
Right.
Everything is much closer because your image being this way and not this way, you can actually do a close up of people. It's a completely different thing.
I realized that our stream tonight, we would have to decide if we were doing it in 9:16. We'd have to decide: is Benoit above or is Carl above? Right?
Yeah, for that. But if you look at the trend for live production on the internet,
sure.
The one trend that's really, really important to notice are the super close-up trend.
Right.
We see more and more super close-up. Really, just the face of the person who's actually singing or talking, and this is very, very different from the traditional television production that was there before.
Right.
Is that everything is much closer. One good example, I don't know if I told you about Billie Eilish, but Billie Eilish did a show for Apple at the Steve Jobs Center.
Okay.
When she won an award as an artist. And if you go and look at that show online, you'll understand what I mean by super close up, because
right.
you had shots of her really like this, and then you had just the hands on the piano, and it was a wonderful production. It was really, really well made, but it gives you a really good example of where internet production has moved to.
Right.
Because before, people were just doing a production, regular TV production for the internet. Now, if you look on your phone and you have a wide shot of a stage where people are about that high, it doesn't break it if you're watching on the phone. It's okay if you watch on a big 70-inch TV.
Sure.
But on the phone, so you have to keep in mind that if you're planning to do a production for the internet, maybe you should plan for the internet and not the same type of production that you would do on a regular show.
Yeah, so when we sit down and we have conversations with people about their streaming expectations and what they're planning on doing, one of the first questions that always comes up, one of the first questions is what's your upload speed? But one of the other questions that comes up right in the first couple of minutes is, who's your client? Like, who are you shooting this for? Who is going to be watching? And what's the demographic? Is this their medium? Like, is that how they're watching it? Are they watching in their big TV? Or are you just broadcasting it so that it's down in the other end of the building so that those people can watch it? It's totally different. Very, very different sort of an application. So I'm glad you brought that up. Okay, so there's Datavideo does cameras, encoders.
And honestly, if you're looking at everything that you need to do for live production.
Right.
We're pretty much doing everything. We do LCD monitors. We do power management.
Right.
We do a whole bunch of things, and basically to be able to offer a full service. And we have unique things as well. Our anti-array switchers are unique. There's no other company that basically does that.
So
we're using HD-based T as well for camera, and we have probably one of the only HD-based T switcher. The HS1600T is a legend right now. We have orders orders galore.
Yeah. So this camera is a this is one of your PTC 140Ts, and so it has HD-based-T on here. And just so that people who are watching understand, that means that using HD-based-T is not only in this situation a video transport, but it's also the control and power for this camera down one cable. So it's a pretty great solution for a lot of situations. You know, you're not having to call out an electrician to put power over here and power over there, but it also means that you have flexibility in how you do your installation. We've got some clients who are saying, well, I'm going to do a data drop here and a data drop here and a data drop there, and then depending on what's happening, then they can move that camera. And they may.
And don't forget, you know, you're dealing a lot with churches, right?
Yeah, so absolutely.
And sometimes the architecture, there's woodwork, and there's a lot of nice. They're beautiful, and you know, to need to drill the wood, and bring the wires and electricity there, when you could just hide a nice little cable and everything is done with one cable. That's
Absolutely.
a big plus for these installations.
Absolutely. Okay, so you know, we've only got a couple more minutes. You started to talk about a different kind of streaming platform. So right now, most of the streaming that's done on the internet, or most of the streaming that people do in the kind of streaming we're talking about, is RTMP.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me about what is SRT in layman's terms. What is SRT, and what does Datavideo see as being the biggest advantage to SRT?
Well, we're moving to SRT because we have a lot of customers that don't have a reliable network.
Right.
And the fluctuation on their network is really preventing them to get real good quality streaming. SRT is based out of a sender and a receiver. And when the stream goes from the sender to the receiver is actually analyzing the packet loss. And if there is a packet loss, it will call the sender to just send these packets. RTMP right now, what it does is that if the integrity of the stream is not good, RTMP will ask for the full stream to be. That's where, you know, you got the wheel going and it's not working.
Right.
But SRT is asking only for the lost packets.
Okay.
So, for example, if you have an RTMP stream and you lose 2-3% of the stream,
right,
you will start to lose integrity of your stream, and your video is pretty much unwatchable.
Right.
That's why you need that headroom to be able to make sure that your stream is going to be good. With SRT, there were tests done with 20% packet loss, and you didn't lose anything.
Oh, wow.
So the integrity of the stream was still good. So we think that using SRT, you know, if you're looking, you know, anywhere near the lake, the chalet, you know, anywhere where the network is not reliable, basically outside the big centers, really.
Yep.
Or if you're using a cellular phone to do your transmission, SRT will be really, really a good technology to use, and it's a Canadian technology as well. The SRT was created by iVision in Montreal, and a few years ago it became an open source format. So it is open source, and so that's why, you know, we're using that format to do that.
So okay, so we're in 2020 right now.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, most things are RTMP. Do you see groups like YouTube and Facebook being able to accept an SRT signal sooner than later, or what do you think is going to happen?
The way we were doing it is that we're working on sending SRT to the cloud.
Okay.
And then once you're on the cloud, there is no bandwidth issues anymore.
Right.
So what we're doing right now is all our encoders. I have a beta encoder. If you want to, we can do some tests to have some fun. My NDS33 now has a beta software in it that provides me SRT, and our DV Cloud is SRT as well.
Right.
So basically, the plan is to be able to communicate with the DV Cloud, and then from the DV Cloud, you can send it in any format. A transport stream or RTMP to any address all at the same time, but without any bandwidth issues at all.
Okay, so just we're moving through this pretty quickly. So just so that I think that everybody understands, what you're saying is that one of these boxes, in fact, actually, I'm pretty sure that the NVS34 has the ability to stream SRT in it.
We'll have SRT as well.
Yes. So then we can set this streaming box up to stream to DV Cloud, which is Datavideo's cloud service, which is a subscription-based. I want to say it's $50, maybe $100 per month US.
There's depending if you want to record, if you have multiple streams to do at the same time.
Okay.
But for a church that has one stream to come out,
right,
it's a $50 cloud.
Great. Okay, so then I'm $50 a month US. I'm thinking, right?
Yes, of course.
Okay. Okay, that's fine. And then so I'm streaming from this box to there, and then from there, the Datavideo cloud, the DV cloud, will then send my signal to YouTube and Facebook and that kind of thing, and I don't need to worry about it.
Five of them.
Up to 5 of them.
At the same time.
Great. Okay. So
if you have your own Facebook, if you have the Facebook of the church, for example, you have a YouTube channel, you want to send it to Instagram, you can all do that with one subscription.
So you know what I think this. So I just want to clarify, because I think that this is an important piece. If I take this box right now, and within this box, I stream out to YouTube and Facebook like I'm doing right this moment, then that's actually taking up twice as much bandwidth on our upload speed, because it's uploading to Facebook and to their servers, and I'm uploading to YouTube and their servers.
Yep.
But if I go to the DV cloud, then that's only going up once, and as you're saying, I'm using SRT, so it should be a more reliable signal or more forgivable signal, I suppose, that's going to go to there, and then I can go out to all these different sources or all these different platforms.
That's exactly the principle of using SRT on a cloud service.
Right.
Because you sort of guarantee the integrity of the stream going to the cloud.
Right.
And then from the cloud, there is no issue on the cloud. There's never issue on bandwidth issues on the cloud. You get as much bandwidth as you want, and it's going to push it out, and it's not a problem.
Oh, this is cool. This is great. All right. Well, thank you very much, sir. We could talk for hours and hours. We do talk. We do talk for hours and hours.
We could have some fun.
All right. Well, we should do this again. We will. We'll talk about the new and the next great thing. I know that you and I, there's new stuff coming that we could definitely talk about, and I'm excited about it. So thank you very much, Benoit. I really appreciate you taking the time tonight. That's great. And if anybody's got any questions about any of the Datavideo products, any of the Datavideo cameras, switchers, recording devices, that sort of thing, we're happy to help where we can. But I know that Benoit's really great at being able to answer questions as well. And Datavideo is just simply datavideo.com, right? I believe it's pretty easy to find. I will tell you that sometimes when you first go there for the first time, you'll land on the European site. So there is an American. We fall into the American category for Datavideo here in Canada.
Well, you'll see that we have many different websites because we're all over the world, right?
Sure, for sure.
We have the Chinese website, but I don't know why. I've tried to see, but all Canadians will hit the European website.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know why, but and originally I thought it was just me because of my French computer, but no, I mean pretty much everyone hits the EU website.
That's all right. We'll find our way around it. Well, thank you very much, and thank you very much for watching our Resourcestage live tonight. And if there's something that we can help you out with your microphone from PointSource Audio, or for any of the video systems for streaming, that sort of thing, then please let us know. You can find us at horizonsolutions.net, or you can find us resourcestage.ca, and there's other information, blog posts, and that kind of thing coming up there. We will be back with another Resourcestage live. We already have that booked. I believe we're talking to Kramer and ETC next, so that'll be coming up in a couple of weeks. Thank you very much, and have a good night.